Welcome back to Tu-Vie, your TV movie entertainment needs channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series trailer. If you guys haven't seen it yet, no worries. We're going to help break down everything you saw in case you either didn't know, if you're new to the series and everything, don't worry, we got you covered. So with that being said, let's get into it. First things first, I really want to start off with is how incredible this show actually looks. I know that we got the set photos and they look great, and we got the character posters, they look great, but actually seeing it in motion and everything is really, really well done. I'm thoroughly impressed on actually how good this looks. And I know that when it first came out, the news about it came out like 3 or 4 years ago, I think, maybe even longer. I was a little skeptical, and I was thinking, and in the back of my head, I still think this: why do we need a live action one? And frankly, if it's to have people get into the medium of it all and experience the show in a different way, then that's great. And I think everyone should get the chance to experience both this show and the animated version and the spinoff show, or I guess the sequel show to Legend of Korra. Either way, though, this show looks really, really great, and it looks so much better than that piece of crap thing. We don't even mention the name. We don't speak it. It looks way better than that in terms of the elemental bending, which actually has more of a realistic touch with it rather than its, I guess, theatrical. I don't even know how to would even call it. Had the one in the other movie, but this one felt more to the actual element. Also, the actual production of this show seems like it's actually matching the aesthetic of the actual show we saw in animation. And so I felt like the transition between animation and live action is a pretty good jump. I mean, even the characters look very much similar. Even the guy that plays Sokka sounds a little similar to the voice actor. I really like the casting choices for this show. It feels very real to the characters that we saw in the animated show. And I felt like what the movie did wrong the first time around was just casting a bunch of white people. It's so much. We talk about it a little bit more on the actual Avatar episode you guys can check out now. But the point being is that they were wanting to not do the same mistakes as that other movie. And they were actually told, the production team, to not watch that movie and to avoid any possible comparisons. And it's showing that they didn't do any comparisons. But they did the right choices with the show, casting the right people, not just in terms of look, but even talent. The guy that plays Fire Lord Ozai, I can't remember his name right now. Daniel Day Kim, that's the one. God, how the hell did I forget that? Daniel Day Kim as Fire Lord Ozai is just. Also, Paul Sun Huang Lee as Uncle Iroh is a great choice. But even the cast for Zuko, Aang, Katara, Sokka, and even Suki are awesome. Now, enough about the characters. Let's get into the trailer. Everything that I wanted to see in this show in live action, I'm seeing done pretty well. And one thing I really did enjoy, like I said before, is the way they make the elements look really, smooth and clean. Like the last Airbender movie didn't do airbending all that well, and I'm loving the way this show's doing it. I like how in that moment where Aang is doing the airball and he crashes into that statue, very similar to how the actual opening of the show went. I like how when he's doing that, it's not just a clear ball of air. There is a sense like that he's collecting all the dirt that he was standing on, and that's what's showing the shape of the air, if that makes sense. Like, I get in cartoon, you can add the colors and everything and show that he's floating on a circular ball of air and riding that, because that's easily done. But in live action, they really showed the air bending in a really cool way by having the elements it was picking up with, either dirt or like bits of fire or just leaves or whatever, kind of create that tunneling shape when he does do the air bending. And I thought that was a really cool way to show the air side of it, and everything else is pretty plain and simple. You can see fire, water, and earth. So that idea is really well done, and I'm really proud of that. I want to hop back onto Daniel Day Kim because damn, dude looks so good as Fire Lord Ozai, and I'm very nervous to actually how the Agni Kai is going to be shown in this episode explicitly. I don't know what exact episode it's going to be, but it's in the show entirely. And with that episode, I know it's going to be carrying a lot of weight because now we're actually seeing the Agni Kai, and I think in longer form, because the team that did this said that we're going to be getting some stuff in this show that we didn't get in the animated show, starting obviously with the Fire Nation attack on the air temples that I believe it was Aang's, his was, I think, the Northern Air Temple, I think it was. So we're going to be seeing, sadly, that attack on the Air Nation because the next lineage of Avatar was air, and so the Fire Nation wanted to rid the line, and by that point, Aang had ran away. But it's going to be really really sad to watch that. And as much as they're going to be showing us things we haven't seen, I wonder what they're not going to be showing us, because there's a lot of moments in this show that I don't think can be, rushed or forgotten, because they have big plays coming later on in the third book or even the second book, as sooner as that. But like the moment where Aang learns firebending and he's playing with it and he accidentally burns Katara, that's the moment she learns she can actually heal herself with the water. And so I don't know how much of this show we're not going to be getting, but I hope enough of what we do get justifies the change, because this show is great and the storytelling elements is beautiful, and I feel like there wasn't a missed beat in in the animated form. Now, down the line, don't know if hopefully it gets that far, but down the line, when we get to book 3 and they ever go to Ember Island, they better do the play. They better find some very similar actors that just are opposite to the actual characters, but similar to the actors that were the actors in that play. Does that make sense? Like, I really hope they do that well. Dallas, who is playing Prince Zuko, looks absolutely incredible, and Paul, who is playing Uncle Iroh, I love their dynamic between the two of them, and I like how we're getting the two of them on the run, and it feels like that part may be happening sooner, because it does happen later on in, I believe, the first season. And we're also being introduced to Azula a lot earlier than what happened in the first season. I believe she came like second to last episode of the first season, so I think we're going to be getting her pretty much right away. Which also, I mean, the casting for that, way to go. And just from Azula to Suki to everybody, the casting, I have said probably this 4 or 5 times now, casting is awesome. But I also like how the characters that they're portraying, the actors are bringing that same energy. But enough can be said about the characters and how they're portraying it, but none other than the man himself, the Cabbage Man. He's coming back. The same man that voiced him is playing him in live action. You couldn't got a better casting for that. The man was like, hell yeah, I want to do this. I am a little saddened, a lot saddened that D. Bradley Baker is not coming back to voice Appa or Momo or pretty much any of the animals, I believe, that is in this show. He was the voice in the animated series. He's a great voice actor. I really hope he came back for maybe a one role or something. One thing I also love about the trailer is that we got a better look at some of the creatures that were briefly mentioned, I think only in conversation. So we had Heibai. Heibai was in the same episode as June, and I believe her animal character's name is Nyla, but she was that blind badger mole thing that can like sense people, and then I think that when she like "Rah," with her tongue, it like paralyzed someone or like poisoned them. I think it was paralyzed. Either way, I'm loving the fact that we're getting the animals in great detail, especially Heibai, as that episode is really important to Aang's spiritual journey. But it looks incredible, and the detailing between the characters, the creatures from live action and animation is really really one like it's perfect. And I've also stated this in a TikTok plenty of times ago. The June actress looks perfect. I'm so excited to see that June is actually in the show, as well as Jet. We had that moment where he is blading the fireballs, and I believe we're also be getting the other freedom fighters in that episode as well. And for a brief moment, you can also see Aang. I believe this is the one at the Southern Air Temple, where that family of, I think it was refugees from the Fire Nation that were living there. But I know that the dad, that's the mechanic, or the mechanic, who's being played by Danny Pudi. You get to see that moment where Aang and the kid who's in the wheelchair are flying around, and I believe there was other people in the background that were flying too. So it's great to see that actual moment done in live action. And Danny Pudi, stupid good choice. He's so good. We also did get a brief fight with Katara and Zuko in the Southern Water Tribe, which is the ending of the first season when the Fire Nation attacks, and Zuko and her have that brawl, and she's freezing him and all these different things. So I'm glad we're going to be getting that moment where the character development of Zuko starts to really be kicked in gear. But at the same time, we're going to be getting a lot of crazy good fights between the elements. And more importantly, the Avatar state looks so cool. I kind of did like the little "Hey Arnold" thing that's been going around a little bit as a meme, but I think having a better Avatar state in live action is great. And we're also going to be getting the Blue Spirit episode. So that's going to be super cool. I love the Blue Spirit episode. The Blue Spirit as a whole is super, super cool. I wanted the actual toy that they sold. I never saved enough money like an idiot. I feel like whatever I've wanted in this show is finally being done correctly in live action. I know everyone still begs the question why. I don't know why. I just appreciate the show a lot, and having the pressure to do a live action correctly was met with a lot of good praise. But at the same time, I also know that the need for this live action show is not so heavy because the show itself is still really popular. It's still really, really heavy in fandoms, and people still talk about it in casual conversation. So it's not like, their popularity is depleting and they need something to do. But I do like it. And I know that we're even getting another animated Aang and the group movie. I believe next year. We'll talk a little bit more about it in our Avatar episode. But this for now will satisfy. I'm happy about it. It looks incredible. And I'm so excited for it. Well, actually, one last thing. I don't know how I forgot about this. The boy in the iceberg moment looks stupid good. I like how they're not really like undermining the importance of that one moment in the show where that just skyrockets from the ice block that Aang and Appa were in the official start of that season in that show, and the entire journey is so important. I'm glad they did it right. That pretty much covers the entire trailer. Everything else was just small bits and pieces of it. I know we also did get a brief look at the Kyoshi Warriors, and they look awesome. The fight scenes look really well choreographed, and I'm so excited to actually see the Kyoshi Warriors in live action. There was, I think, a deleted scene in the movie, or I think there was a rumor that they were in the movie and they just never showed it. I don't know. They were supposed to be in the movie. I was pissed because I like the Kyoshi Warriors and Avatar Kyoshi. That is my favorite Avatar. But the fact that we're actually getting really, really cool action sequences, I'm super excited for. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and even check out the rest of the episodes we have here. All of season 2 is on this channel. Everything on season 1 is on our Spotify and Apple podcast. What was your favorite part of the trailer? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and we'll see you guys next time.